Hi, welcome to Just Another Weed Patch Farm. In this segment, we're going to talk to you about alley cropping as a part of our agroforestry demonstration project. My name is Sonia Zupanets.
And my name is Thor.
This is our biggest nut on the farm, our son Thor. So alley cropping is very important in agroforestry because you can utilize the space between your trees to grow annual or perennial crops while the trees are growing. As you can see here, we've got lots of little baby walnut trees that we'll take a closer look at later. But right now, these are the structure of our field, an old pasture that we're trying to reclaim. And in between the rows of nut trees, we're growing a few annual crops right now to start. So we've done some test plots of Styrian pumpkins. Thor, what are you doing today with the Styrian pumpkins?
Well, I was just a couple minutes ago. I was cutting them off the vine and cleaning them up.
They're quite small.
Well, it's at the end of the season. That's why these ones are actually quite small. The size of the ones that we usually get is about this big.
Much bigger. And what's special about this particular type of pumpkin that we're growing?
Well, they're seeds. When they start off, they're like most pumpkins. They are green. But when they get older, they keep some of the green and also go orange.
And why are we growing them? Do we eat the flesh?
No, the flesh is not actually that good. It is for these. So these are the seeds of the Styrian pumpkin, and
wow, they have no shell on them.
They're
look at that.
shellless seeds.
Beautiful.
And they're actually quite yummy like this, but they're even yummier when you roasted the seeds and after you roast them, you can put them into a cold press and make an oil.
Wow, look at that. They call this green gold in Styria, which is a part of Austria where this particular pumpkin originates from. It's a genetic anomaly, no shells on the seeds. Great source of omega-3s. So what we have are a series of 5-foot by 50-foot long rows for these particular test plots. And we're calling them hugelkultur rows that we've done because it's a very different style of planting in between the rows of nut trees than just tilling the soil and planting an annual crop. So Thor, can you tell us a little bit about the hugelkultur?
Well, the hugelkultur mounds are basically where we dug 2 giant trenches, filled them with all rocks, some wood chips, and other compost from the garden and stuff, so that we can just and then we put the sods right back on top so the grass bits are down and planting them. The pumpkins will love it.
They do, and most plants respond really well to a hugelkultur system. It's like a giant sponge for several years that slowly decomposes. And as these nut trees mature and grow, they'll also be tapping into this enormous pit of biomass, essentially, and nutrients. So all of these old vines and biomass are going to be left right on top of this hugelkultur mound to break down, and next year what we'll be doing is planting either pumpkins again or sunflowers or artichokes. Those are the 3 main crops we're interested in growing in an alley crop situation. We use a soaker hose to do all the irrigation. We'll be turning the soil and adding compost and manure, ripping out the weeds. Essentially, this entire mound is going to be planting medium, from the sides to the tops and the edges. We've got a lot of area with which to plant in. And like we said, we're very interested in cut flowers, but we're also interested in any other crops that provide a lot of what?
Food for our bees.
Yes.
We have bees here.
That's right, lots of honeybees and lots of native pollinators. So anything that provides nectar or pollen is more than welcome to be grown in the alley crop, and we will find a market. In terms of alley cropping, what we've got here is the English walnut block, which are labeled here on the site plan as E-T trees or E-numbered trees. And in between the rows of these trees, where we were just filming, were these 2 specific Styrian pumpkin alley crops. So the scale's not indicative of what we have on the ground. Of course, the alley crops are going to be as wide as need be, and we may even widen them further, but these are the alley crops between the rows of the walnut trees. This is the Chinese chestnut block which we've planted, There are no alley crops. Because of the poor soil conditions in this area and the spacing of the trees, we've decided this is not the best place to put alley crops. And then these are the Japanese heartnut trees. And these have also been planted, and these alley crops are being established as we speak. And the last block of trees are the hazelnut trees. And there are no alley crops because of the tight spacing of the hazelnuts, which is about 12 feet apart. We decided probably not a good use of our time, also because these trees grow very quickly and they'll be shading out the space in between quite quickly. So in addition to the pumpkins, we are growing cut flowers, and the idea is to focus on the soils that are the most rich and the deepest for alley crops, where we can diversify artichokes, cut flowers, Styrian pumpkins being the predominant crops that we want to grow in these areas. This is our newest alley crop row that's being established in preparation for the 2014 growing season. So this fall it will be filled with alder branches and very coarse woody debris at the bottom. And as we layer up, the materials will get finer. So we'll be using wood chips, compost, leaves, everything we've been stockpiling on hand all summer, including corn stalks, sunflower stalks, things that are just too annoying to compost. They'll all end up in here. And eventually it'll be a mounded growing medium for next summer's cut flower season.